To me, this seems directly linked to our self-image. And if the facts come slapping us in the face, threaten the image we have of ourselves, which is usually given form in the character role we play in life, we may want to fight back or say that life is something other than it really is in order to protect our own self-image. There's all kinds of arguments as to in the epistemology that are given in the article on epistemology, which is the study of knowledge. And I think basically knowledge is true propositions, true statements. But belief is brought in as a player. And a player in this, we can believe something to be true that is not necessarily true. And then all kinds of confusion comes in. Mistaken judgments and mistaken misvalues of things. What is the value of a thing? Well, it has to have self-importance for a certain goal to be accomplished, or something to that effect. I guess what really concerns me here is that for myself, I realized that experiences are arising within me all the time, and they are changing. It's not a constant experience. And when I go out into the world, I've always understood this about myself, that I have my own personal identity, but that does not necessarily mean that it exists outside of me. So I can have this personal existence in which I consciously identify with, but I don't take that so literally that my experience is what exists outside of me. But I found that oftentimes I can identify with another person as a direct result of experiencing this inner identity. Because of my knowledge, my self-awareness of my own identity, there are certain things that become very clear to me in which I'm able to empathize that exist outside of me, empathize with. Yeah. And when I think I took this for granted when I was younger, where I could empathize with others tremendously, but expected that to be able to be returned. I sort of expected people to be able to do that in return. And it was a big reality check to realize that no, that's not the way it works for everybody. Not everyone is concerned with but not everybody is able to concern themselves with empathizing with other people, what other people are experiencing. But as I continue to study, I realized that this very process of empathizing with others and not empathizing with others, not being able to have a comprehensive understanding of what's going on within us, can actually cause a great deal of the woes on the planet. So, we want to feed the poor, for instance. Well, this becomes our something we personally identify with as of very high value. And we live our life in accord with that. However, the poor never cease. Why do the poor never cease? Well, there seems to be a balancing out of our selflessness in a certain portion of the population to be selfish. And I'm not concerned so much with trying to resolve the problem. I'm concerned rather with how it is things are, so that I can come to terms with it. And this can change my perspective of my relationship in relation to life as it is. And this coming to terms of being myself in this world, that oftentimes I am secondary to the movements of the world. You know, these large social movements, I am secondary. The primary mover are the huge numbers that are participating in these movements. And so my singularity would be secondary, not primary. Even though within myself it's a primary experience and the external world is secondary.